Stop now. I need to talk to you. Don't continue doing what you were doing. Don't let your mind wander. Don't return to the distractions that try to pull you back every day. I brought you to this moment for a reason that surpasses anything you can understand now. You didn't find this message by chance. I guided you here. I set you apart to hear this at the exact moment your thoughts were about to get lost in fear, doubt, or exhaustion. I chose you. And when I choose someone, there is no force on earth or in hell that can stop what I am going to do. I need your full attention because what I am about to reveal touches directly on the area of your life where you have been suffering in silence. You tried to hold on, tried to maintain control, tried to act as if everything was all right. But I saw when your strength began to wane. I saw when you smiled on the outside while inside you wondered how much longer you could endure. I saw when you thought you had nowhere left to lean on. And that is why I tell you, stop now. Stop to listen to me. Stop to feel me. Stop, because this is a spiritual moment ordained by heaven. I come to you as a father, but also as God. I come as the one who formed you, the one who knows you, the one who sustains you. I know where it hurts. I know where you think you failed. I know where you feel small. I know where you believe no one understands you. But I understand you. I always have. And today I come to restore what has been broken within you. But for that, you need to listen to me. You are living in the number 6. 6 represents what is halfway done, what is not yet completed, what tries to move forward but remains stuck. 6 is the cycle where you fight, try, wear yourself out, and yet feel you never reach rest. 6 is the almost happened, the almost worked out, the almost changed. The almost got you out of that situation. But I am not the God of almost. I am not the God of the incomplete. I am not the God of what gets stuck halfway. I am the God of 7. And today I draw near to take you from 6 and lead you to the fullness of 7. I come to complete what has been interrupted. I come to heal wounds that you have learned to carry. I come to straighten paths where you thought there was no way out. I come to open doors that have been locked for years. I come to bring rest where there was anxiety. I come to bring answers where there was only waiting. I come to bring direction where there was only confusion. But before I can change what is around you, I need to adjust what is inside you. That is why I have brought you to this very moment. You are stepping into spiritual territory. You are in a moment where heaven touches earth. And to mark before my angels that you have heard my voice, write, "I am listening, Lord," in the comments as an act of faith and surrender. Now, breathe. Open your heart. I need to keep talking to you. This is the defining moment of your life. It's not just another instant, not just another day that passed unnoticed. This is the minute I prepared even before you existed, the minute when heaven approaches you with a clear, direct, and transformative purpose. I brought you here because there is something that needs to be activated within you, something that was dormant, something that time, struggles, and frustrations tried to stifle, but that I never let die. Today, I awaken it again. Today, I call you to the center of my will. Everything you've experienced up to this point has brought you exactly to this moment. Your tears, your losses, your disappointments, your silent nights, wondering if I was still with you. All of this is part of the story I am about to tell. You are not watching a video. You are facing an encounter. You are not facing loose words. You are facing Forlo, my voice. And when I choose to speak, the spiritual world moves. When I choose to touch, nothing remains the same. When I choose to change, even that which seemed permanent begins to unravel. I want you to realize where you stand right now. This is no ordinary moment. You have entered a spiritual realm where celestial decisions are being made. You are crossing a portal that I have opened. There are things that have been stuck for years, trying to resist, but today they are beginning to yield. Ancient chains are breaking. Weights you have carried without realizing it are being removed. And there is a force that I, myself, am pouring upon your spirit to lift you from the place where you have become accustomed to merely surviving. This moment doesn't just speak of the present. It speaks of the coming years of your life. It speaks of the direction I will give you. It speaks of the answer you were waiting for. It speaks of the relief you asked for. It speaks of the intervention you pleaded for in your thoughts without having the courage to verbalize it. It speaks of the cycle that has come to an end. It speaks of the new that is being established. It speaks of the change that can no longer be postponed. And it also speaks of the spiritual responsibility you have in listening to my voice at this point in your journey. I tell you, do not ignore the importance of what is happening. When I mark a moment as decisive, it is because what will come after it cannot be sustained if your heart is not aligned now. I am not calling you merely to console you. I am calling you to position you. I am taking you from the surface of emotions and bringing you to the depth of your purpose. I am moving you from 6 to 7, from incomplete to perfect, from almost to accomplished, from delay to progress, from waiting to fulfillment. You need to understand that 7 is not just a number. 7 is the revelation of my intention. It is the sign of my rest entering your story. It is the touch of my hand, closing everything that was too open, resolving what was too pending, concluding what you couldn't finish on your own. I am leading you to 7 because you were not born to live trapped in repetitive cycles of exhaustion, of fruitless struggle, of effort without reward. I made you for fullness, and today I declare that fullness begins. But I don't bless you just for you to keep to yourself. What I am releasing now needs to touch other lives. What I am doing in your story will serve to free someone who is as trapped as you were. Therefore, as a spiritual act, share this message. Share this with someone who needs to hear my voice, and let me reach another person through your obedience. Now stay here. I'm not finished speaking with you yet. There are still revelations that need to enter your spirit before I take you to the next level. Take a deep breath and open your heart. The movement I have begun will not be interrupted. I continue to guide you. I continue to call you. I continue to prepare you for what comes next. I take you from 6 and lead you to 7. I put an end to the cycle that drained your strength, to the phase that left you tired, to the time when you fought so hard and reaped so little. I come now to break through what insisted on keeping you trapped in the same place. 6 represented your human attempt, your solitary effort, the feeling of almost arriving, almost changing, almost winning. But I did not create you for almost. I do not form you halfway. I do not leave you where the enemy tried to park you. I am the God who completes, the God who finalizes, the God who perfects everything that concerns you. 7 is my decree concerning your life. 7 is the season of completeness, of the promise that emerges from the invisible to the visible, of the answer that ceases to be a dream and becomes reality. 7 is rest after war. It is progress after the blockade. It is the miracle after the long wait. You have come this far, carrying burdens that no one saw, facing trials that no one recognized, walking along roads where it seemed that I was silent. But I was never far away. I was never absent. I never stopped. Watching you, sustaining you, preparing you. Today I move you. I remove the dust you've accumulated from the deserts you've crossed. I take away the feeling of being behind that has accompanied you for so long. I unlock what was locked inside you. I dispel the fog that prevented you from seeing. I align what was out of place. I break the spiritual weight that tried to push you back to what I had already concluded. Nothing I do is halfway, and that's why I'm closing chapter 6 to open chapter 7. I do this because I love you, because I chose you, and because I prepared you to live beyond what you've already lived. When I take you to number 7, I take you to a level of grace you have never experienced. I take you to a season where doors respond to my command, where the invisible becomes tangible, where what seemed impossible bends before my voice. 7 is when I bring order where there was confusion, when I restore what you thought you had lost, when I surprise you with paths you never imagined. 7 is my signature, saying that now I am leading, and when I lead, nothing can resist. I take you from fear and lead you to confidence. I take you from doubt and lead you to clarity. I take you from shame and place you in honor. I take you from inner conflict and bring you to the rest of my presence. 7 is when you stop trying to survive and begin to live in what I have prepared. 7 is when you rest because you know I am fighting for you. 7 is when you stop carrying everything alone and allow me to complete what you could never accomplish without my hand. But I need to know if your heart is aligned with what I am releasing. 7 is not just a promise, it's a spiritual position. It's you saying, I accept leaving 6, I accept entering fullness. And to mark this before heaven, before the angels I send in your favor, and before the very darkness that tried to paralyze you, make an act of agreement, like this video, and subscribe as a prophetic sign that you are receiving the 7 that I am establishing over you. Now allow my voice to continue guiding you. Profound revelations are coming, and what I need to show you in the next part will further open the path for the change that has already begun in your spirit. Breathe and remain here. The 7 is being poured out. I am still speaking to you. I saw all your humiliations. I saw when you tried to hide your pain so as not to worry those around you. I saw when you smiled on the outside while your soul trembled inside. I saw when you held back tears so that no one would notice the weight you carried. I saw when you needed to be strong, even when you had no strength left. I saw when they demanded of you what you didn't have. I saw when they expected something from you that was beyond your capabilities. I saw when they judged you without knowing your story, without knowing the path that brought you here. I saw the moment you opened your wallet and discovered there wasn't enough. I saw your heart sink in front of an ATM, facing an overdue bill, a need you didn't know how to meet. I saw you receive a look of disdain because you didn't have what they expected. I saw you lower your head to hide your shame, to avoid exposing the storm raging inside you. I saw them try to diminish you because of what you lacked, as if a person's worth were tied to what they possess or don't possess. I saw the nights you lay in bed not knowing how you would face the next day. I saw when you closed your eyes trying to believe that everything would be all right, even though your mind insisted on showing you the opposite. I saw when you felt invisible, alone, forgotten. I saw when you were afraid to ask for help so as not to be a burden. I saw when you swallowed your tears so as not to worry your children, your family, your friends. I saw when you kept everything silent. Nothing escaped my gaze. I saw the doors that closed in front of you without explanation. I saw when you dedicated yourself, when you strived, when you did your best but were still left aside. I saw when someone else was chosen in your place. I saw when you were ignored, rejected, or underestimated. I saw when you prepared for something that never happened. I saw when you created expectations that were cruelly shattered. I saw when disappointment placed a weight on your chest that you couldn't explain to anyone. I saw when you wanted to give up. I saw when you thought there was no way out. I saw when you felt incapable, insufficient, small. I saw when you believed, even if only for a moment, that I had forgotten you. But I never forgot you. I never stopped seeing you. I never took my eyes off you, not for a second. I was there in every tear, in every silence, in every failed attempt, in every moment you hid from yourself. I was there when you thought you were alone. I also saw what no one else knew, the effort you made to keep going, even when tired. The care you showed for people who never appreciated what you did. The love you offered without expecting anything in return. The kindness you sowed even in times of scarcity. The faith you tried to keep alive even when your soul was crumbling. All of this comes before me as a memorial. Nothing was wasted, nothing was in vain, nothing was ignored. The humiliations you endured were not signs of abandonment, but signs of struggle. And every struggle I allow is because I have already determined a victory greater than I myself would allow you to ask for. The tears you shed are not marks of weakness, but seeds that planted what I am about to make flourish. The pain you carried does not define who you are, but reveals who I will be in your life from now on. I honor you because I saw when you were dishonored. I lift you up because I saw when they tried to bring you down. I vindicate you because I saw when you were unjustly accused. I restore you because I saw when you were hurt. I strengthen you because I saw when everything tried to break you. I heal you because I saw where you were wounded. I change your story because I saw what history did to you. Now breathe, I am with you. And what I will reveal in the next part will expose the root of what tried to imprison you. I didn't just see your pain. I decided to transform everything it left behind in you. Stay here. I am still talking to you. I need to reveal something to you that you never clearly realized. You rejected opportunities that I, myself, sent. Not because you didn't want to listen to me, not because you were rebellious, but because your soul was tired, wounded, too distrustful to believe that something so great could truly happen to you. I saw when I opened doors and you hesitated. I saw when I placed before you paths that could have changed your life, but fear paralyzed you. I saw when the chance arrived and your mind convinced you that it wasn't for you, that you weren't ready, that it was better to wait. I saw when trauma spoke louder than hope. You didn't reject me because you didn't love me. You rejected me because you were deeply hurt, because you expected little from yourself, because you expected little from life, because you thought every good thing had a hidden price, because you believed the lies that were planted in you from the beginning, because you became accustomed to cycles of loss, and when something good approached, it seemed impossible to trust. I saw when you kept expectations deep in your heart because you were afraid of being disappointed again. I saw when you gave up trying to believe in new things because everything around you always seemed the same. There were times when I whispered ideas into your mind, clear directions, strong intuitions that came from me, but you remained silent, thinking they were figments of your imagination. There were times when I placed people in your path to help you, but insecurity made you retreat. There were times when I brought unexpected opportunities, but you felt too small to seize them. There were times when I said, "Go," but you replied, "I can't," not because you didn't want to go, but because you believed you weren't ready. You missed 5 spiritual opportunities because of this. 5 movements that I sent at different times in your life, trying to pull you out of the 6. Each one had enough power to take you to the next level, but the wounds you carried prevented you from seeing what I was offering. The battle within you was so intense that, even without realizing it, you were saying no to what I was saying yes to. This pattern didn't come from you. This pattern was born from the struggles you faced, the harsh words you heard, the times you placed your trust and were disappointed, the doors that closed in your face, the almosts that hurt you deeply. But I don't reveal this to accuse you. I reveal it to set you free. I show you the pattern because today it will be left behind. I expose the snare to destroy it. I show you where you fell, to lift you up in a way that will never again allow it to hold you back. Today, I shine a light where the enemy tried to build shadow. Today, I give you awareness so that you don't repeat what hurt you. Today, I break internal cycles that even you didn't understand. Today, I eliminate blockages that prevented you from moving forward. Today, I destroy strongholds of fear, doubt, and self-sabotage that kept you trapped for so long. This is the 6th opportunity, and that is why you are here. That is why I have brought you to this exact moment. I am speaking to your spirit, not your mind. I am rearranging thoughts, emotions, and perceptions. I am aligning everything within you so that, for the first time in a long time, you can say yes to what I say yes to. This is the missing key. This is the revelation that completes what I began to show you before. This is the understanding that prepares the ground for the miracle I have established for you, to mark that you are breaking with this pattern and receiving what I am. Releasing now. Write 7777 in the comments as a spiritual act of agreement. Stay. What I will reveal in the next part exposes not only the internal pattern, but also the invisible war that tried to prevent everything I planned for you. I continue speaking. I continue acting. I continue leading you to 7. Poverty is a spiritual war. It's not just a lack of money. It's not just material hardship. It's not just a consequence of human choices. Poverty, in its deepest dimension, is an attack on your identity, your faith, your destiny, on what I wrote about you before the world existed. It tries to convince you that you are small, that you weren't born to grow, that you will never have more, that you don't deserve what I have prepared. Poverty tries to mold your vision, your behavior, and your capacity to dream. It tries to make you accept less than what I have determined for you. But today, I reveal to you, this is not normal. This is war. I saw every spiritual attack that sought to limit. I saw when doors were closed for no apparent reason. I saw when opportunities evaporated at the last minute. I saw when alliances broke without explanation. I saw when resources disappeared unjustly. I saw when you were sabotaged by people manipulated by the spiritual environment around them. I saw when situations that should have been simple turned into labyrinths of confusion. I saw when you did everything right and yet nothing progressed. These were not isolated events. They were orchestrated attacks. These attacks didn't begin now. They reached your history in times you no longer even remember. Poverty tried to approach you through ancestral decisions, childhood wounds, harsh words that scarred you, environments where you were exposed to fear, scarcity, and insecurity. It tried to establish itself in you as if it were part of your identity, as if it were inevitable, as if it were your destiny. But none of that is true. Your destiny is not scarcity. Your destiny is not lack. Your destiny is not despair. Your destiny is not living by counting crumbs. I never wrote this about you. Poverty acts like a spiritual shadow, silent, persistent, insistent. It tries to infiltrate your thoughts, telling you that you can't, that you don't deserve it, that you weren't chosen to prosper. It tries to make you believe that you will always be one step behind, always struggling to survive, always begging, always depending. This shadow tries to confuse your mind so that you accept what was never my will. The enemy knows that if he dominates your vision, he steals your ability to move forward. That's why he tried to imprison you in cycles of effort without return, of exhaustion without result. But today I declare something to you with authority. This war is coming to an end. What was operating invisibly against you is losing strength before my intervention. Today I go to the root of the battle. Today I break chains that tried to remain in the dark. Today I destroy access points that the enemy found in your history. Today I neutralize words that tried to limit you. Today I undo spiritual agreements made without your knowledge. Today I break ancient curses that tried to hold sway over your house. Today I remove the legality that gave strength to poverty against you. I am freeing you from a spiritual environment that no longer has the authority to hold you. I am undoing every bond of imprisonment. I am removing burdens you have carried for years without understanding where they came from. I am removing veils that prevented you from seeing the truth. I am clearing paths that have been blocked. I am restoring what has been stolen. I am realigning your life with the original purpose I wrote. The war you have fought for so long was not human, but the victory I am releasing now comes directly from heaven. You are not hearing these words by chance. I brought you here because this revelation needed to enter your spiritual consciousness. Poverty was not a lack of ability, a lack of intelligence, or a lack of effort. It was war, and war is won with light, revelation, and authority, and I am giving you these three now. What has been exposed can no longer be hidden. What has been revealed can no longer imprison you. Today the cycle ends. Today the attack loses its power. Today you rise to live what is yours by inheritance, not what was imposed upon you by mistake. To seal this liberation and allow others to also receive what I am doing with you now, share this message. Share this to break chains in other people's lives, just as I am breaking yours now. Stay with me. Next, I will show you what happens in the spiritual world while I fight for you. The revelation that comes is even deeper. I continue speaking to your spirit. I continue preparing you. I continue leading you to what belongs to you. Kairos is now, not tomorrow. I am calling you to a time that does not belong to the human clock, but to the calendar of heaven. This is not an ordinary moment. This is the exact instant when my will aligns with your path to move that which has been stagnant for years. I did not bring you here to excite you. I brought you here to position you. When I open a Kairos, it is because there is something that can only be released within this spiritual window, something that does not manifest in routine or human effort, but only in immediate obedience to my voice. I want you to understand that there are times when I act progressively, slowly, creating processes, developing maturity. But there are other times, rare, precious, supernatural, when I act directly, suddenly, and definitively. You are within this second type of moment. What I am moving now does not depend on your strength, it depends on your response. Kairos is the point where divine intervention reaches your reality with enough force to change entire scenarios. And this point is happening while you listen to me. I planned this moment before you existed. I wrote this encounter before you first opened your eyes. I brought you here so that you could enter this spiritual turning point. Nothing you've experienced in the last few months was random. Every door that closed, every weight, every silence, every doubt, every feeling of stagnation, all of this was preparation for this opening. I allowed delays not to punish you, but to align you with the right time. Tomorrow doesn't carry the same anointing as today, therefore I tell you, don't postpone what needs to be received today. Tomorrow, the atmosphere will be different. Tomorrow, distractions will try to pull you away. Tomorrow, the weight of responsibilities will try to steal your attention. Tomorrow, The mind will try to rationalize what the spirit has perfectly understood at this moment. Tomorrow, emotions will try to reverse what I am unlocking now. The enemy always tries to push people away from Kairos because he knows that a decision made at the right time has the power to break years of battle in seconds. But I am here to awaken you and prevent you from losing what I have already prepared. I am opening a path before you, a path that did not exist before this moment, a path that I, myself, am paving with my decrees. Kairos brings speed, clarity, and progress. There are people who spend years trying to achieve what I am ready to deliver in a single instant. But for that, you need to be awake, sensitive, and willing. You need to choose the now. You need to choose to trust, even without understanding all the details. Kairos is for those who respond, not for those who hesitate. I am releasing instructions to your spirit. I am activating discernment. I am removing confusion. I am clearing thoughts that have held you captive for too long. I am opening your spiritual eyes so that you may see the door that I am flung open. You are not merely being called, you are being summoned. And when I summon, it is because I have already prepared the provision, the strength, and the resources for the journey that begins this instant. Don't let anything steal your entry into this time. Don't let logic silence what faith is awakening. Don't let insecurity stop you from moving forward. Don't let past experiences determine your behavior in the face of the new thing I am doing. I am calling you to a time of revelation, decision, and openness that will not be repeated in the same way. To mark before heaven that you are entering my Kairos and receiving what I am releasing now, make an act of spiritual agreement, like this video, and subscribe, declaring that you choose to live in heaven's time and not in the time of doubt. Stay here. What I will reveal to you in the next part will show that not only has time changed, but I am moving you to an environment where the impossible begins to yield. I continue speaking, I continue guiding, I continue opening paths. I am not late, I prepare the time. You need to understand this so that your heart stops carrying the weight of comparisons, frustrations, and the constant feeling that life has moved on for everyone else but you. Nothing you have experienced has escaped my guidance. Nothing has escaped my control. Nothing happened outside the exact time I determined. When it seemed that I was silent, I was working. When it seemed that I was distant, I was aligning everything in your favor. When it seemed that I was taking my time, I was protecting you from outcomes that would have hurt you if they had happened sooner. You've often asked yourself, why not now? Why didn't it happen when I needed it? Why did it come so late? But I tell you, it didn't come late. It came at the perfect time. I didn't allow certain doors to open because they would lead you down paths that would destroy what I was building within you. I didn't allow certain people to stay because they didn't have the structure to keep up with the version I was shaping. I didn't allow certain opportunities to prosper because they would steal your focus, your strength, your purity, your vision. The delay you felt was, in fact, deliverance. You learned to wait because waiting was part of your strengthening. Waiting taught you to trust when nothing made sense. Waiting taught you to listen to my voice instead of listening to fear. Waiting taught you to discern between what seemed good and what was truly mine. Waiting matured you. Waiting positioned you. Waiting prepared you to carry what I am releasing now. If I had released it earlier, it would have slipped through your hands because you did not yet have the emotional and spiritual structure to sustain what I was planning. The time that passed was not wasted. It was an investment. It was development. It was refinement. I was addressing areas of your soul that you didn't even know needed addressing. I was healing wounds you carried since childhood, pains that influenced your choices, your behaviors, your decisions. I was breaking patterns, undoing wrong beliefs, removing emotional weight, reorganizing your vision, expanding your faith. I was preparing you to be able to receive without wasting what I wrote about your life. You didn't realize it, but every no I allowed was protection. Every closed door was direction. Every delay was alignment. Every step that seemed improbable was part of a path I meticulously designed. You thought you were standing still, but you were being positioned. You thought you were alone, but you were being guided. You thought you were being forgotten, but you were being prepared for something greater than you could imagine. I didn't leave you behind. I put you on the right track, at the right time, in the right place. There are cycles that I do not allow to be rushed, because to rush is to compromise. I do not work in haste, I work with purpose. I am not driven by human anxiety. I am driven by the completeness of what I am forming. What I have prepared for you could not flourish in immature soil. It was necessary to deepen the roots so that the fruit would not be lost. It was necessary to strengthen your vision so that you would not be deceived by the first false glimmer that appeared. It was necessary for you to learn to recognize what comes from me and what comes to lead you astray. Now you understand why I took so long. Because I was preparing you, preparing the environment, and preparing everything that will be part of what I am releasing. What is coming is not small, it is not fragile, it is not temporary. What I am bringing is solid, it is lasting, it is consistent, it is stable, and that is why it required time. The time was not punishment, it was construction, it was care, it was love. Breathe. I wasn't late. I arrived at the exact moment your spirit was ready to receive what would have previously crushed you. And now, because the time is fulfilled, I will continue to speak. What I will reveal in the next part will show you that now is not just my time. It is the beginning of the transformation you have waited for so long. Remain. I continue to guide you. Those who act now reap now. What I am releasing into your life is not for tomorrow, not for when you feel ready, not for when everything is organized. It is for this very moment. The harvest I have prepared responds to the movement of your heart at the moment I speak. The spirit that hesitates loses the flow of the anointing, but the spirit that responds immediately gains access to what has been locked away for years. I am not calling you to a distant future. I am calling you to a now that carries the power to transform everything around you. Obedience in Kairos changes destinies. When you move at the exact time when my voice touches your spirit, that which was blocked begins to unlock. When you say yes to what I am releasing, doors that seemed impenetrable begin to respond. When you position yourself at the right moment, I accelerate processes that previously seemed impossible. The enemy tries to push you towards indecision, towards doubt, towards later, because he knows that a decision made now has the power to destroy what he has tried to build against you for years. Now is not just a time, it is a portal. It is an open door to the spiritual world. It is an opportunity that will not be repeated with the same force. It is an invitation from heaven. It is the meeting between what I have prepared and what you are ready to receive. When you enter this portal, everything changes. Your mind changes, your vision changes, your strength changes, your atmosphere changes. There are times when I touch someone's spirit so that they may move forward before the cycle closes, and this is one of those moments. Now carries what tomorrow no longer carries. You have spent years waiting for a sign, waiting for confirmation, waiting for direction, waiting for change, and I am showing you that the sign is this moment. The sign is the revelation that is entering your spirit. The sign is the understanding that has opened within you as I spoke. Nothing you are feeling is human. It is my spirit calling you out of stagnation. It is my spirit pulling you forward. It is my spirit pushing you toward destiny. It is my spirit moving you toward that which has already been determined. When I say that those who act now reap now, I'm not speaking metaphorically. I'm talking about real movements in the invisible. I'm talking about answers that are beginning to align. I'm talking about paths that are beginning to open. I'm talking about connections that are beginning to emerge. I'm talking about resources that are beginning to draw closer. I'm talking about internal changes that generate external changes. The harvest I am releasing is not just material. It is emotional, spiritual, mental, relational, ministerial. It is a complete transformation. The time for planting has passed. The time for pruning has passed. The time for waiting has passed. Now is the time to harvest. And this harvest doesn't depend on what you feel. It depends on what you decide. Faith doesn't wait to feel secure. Faith responds to my voice. Faith acts when I call. Faith moves even when the mind tries to argue. Faith enters through the door I opened before it closes. This is the kind of faith that changes stories, that breaks cycles, that wins wars, that unlocks destinies. I am telling you clearly, move forward. Do not hold back what you should deliver at this moment. Do not hold on to what you should release. Do not contain what I have placed within you. You were prepared for this instant. You were molded for this now. You were trained in pain, sharpened in waiting, strengthened in resistance, guided by revelation. And now, what I need from you is simple response. To spiritually mark that you are responding to the present moment that I have opened, make an act of faith, like this video, as a sign that you are entering into the harvest that I am releasing at this very moment. Breathe, prepare yourself. What I will show you in the next part not only confirms what I am doing, it reveals what has already been ordained in your name and is about to manifest. I continue speaking. I continue moving. I continue leading you to what I myself have determined. The deposit already exists in your name. It's not something I will begin to prepare. It's not something still being designed. It's not something distant that will depend on long processes to happen. The deposit is already established in the spiritual world, precisely recorded in what I wrote about you. I don't work with improvisation, I work with decrees. And this deposit was decreed even before you understood the battle you were facing. It wasn't born today, it's only being revealed to you at this moment because your spirit has finally reached the level of understanding necessary to receive what has always been yours. I want you to understand something profound. It's not that the deposit is going to arrive, it's that it has already arrived. It just hadn't manifested because there were spiritual blockages, internal patterns, and invisible structures trying to impede the flow of what I had already released. The delay wasn't in my hands, it was in the spiritual environment around you. While you believed nothing was happening, the deposit already existed as a reality in heaven. What I am doing now is unlocking, unblocking, aligning, and removing everything that prevented its manifestation on earth. What was being held back now finds a free path. You are facing a promise that has already been paid, signed, and stamped with my seal. The deposit is not symbolic, it is real. It is part of my justice, my restitution, and my commitment to your story. There are values, opportunities, connections, resources, and supplies that have already been allocated to you. There are people who will be moved in your favor because of this decree. There are doors that have been created exclusively for your entrance. There are paths that will only be revealed. When you assume your spiritual position in what I am saying now, I place your name upon that which I prepare. It is not a generic deposit. It is not something lost in the universe. It is specific. It is exact. It is yours. Your name is written. Your identity is linked. Your purpose is intertwined with this spiritual resource. Nothing that I ordain is lost. Nothing is mixed. Nothing is redirected. If I say it is yours, no man, no system, no spiritual force has the power to take it. They may try to delay, try to block, try to confuse, but they cannot cancel what I have determined. You spent years believing that the heavens were closed, when in reality, the gift was waiting for the right moment to manifest. Now you understand why so many things seem to be out of your control. I needed to clear your path so that you could receive without the fear of loss, without the weight of old wounds, without the doubt that paralyzed you. I needed to heal what would prevent you from sustaining what I am releasing. Now that your spirit is awakened, I can reveal to you what has always been prepared. The deposit already exists, but it doesn't operate on its own. It needs your agreement. It needs your positioning. It needs your openness of faith. It needs your spiritual perception. You are entering a phase where what seemed distant is rapidly approaching, where what seemed impossible is becoming probable, where what seemed improbable is becoming inevitable. There is movement in the heavens as they hear your response. Angels are positioning themselves. Circumstances are being rearranged. Doors are being aligned to receive you. I'm telling you this loud and clear. The deposit isn't coming. It's here. It has already been released. It is already in motion. It has already been decreed. And when I decree, not even the heavens can turn back, much less the earth. Now, that which still seemed heavy within you begins to dissolve. Unbelief begins to lose strength. Spiritual resistance begins to yield. The environment prepares itself because heaven has already moved. And when heaven moves, the earth has no choice but to align itself, to release to others the same revelation that I am pouring out upon you, and to activate multiplication in that which I have prepared. Make an act of faith and share this message with someone who needs to awaken to the deposit that I have already ordained. Stay here. What I will reveal to you in the next part is the key to understanding how this repository will be activated and what doors will open before you. I continue speaking. I continue guiding. I continue leading you to the purpose I wrote with my own hands. Faith activates what is already yours. The deposit exists. It is ready. It is released, but it doesn't manifest simply because it exists. It manifests because you position yourself spiritually to receive it. Faith doesn't create the deposit. Faith accesses the deposit. Faith doesn't invent the promise. Faith opens the door for the promise to enter your reality. Faith is the bridge between what I have written and what you live. It is the key that opens the door that is already unlocked. It is the movement of your spirit responding to the movement of my spirit. I have given you the authority to activate that which belongs to you. I have given you the spiritual capacity to agree with what I say. Faith is not a feeling, it is a posture. Faith is not inspiration, it is a decision. Faith does not wait to feel courage to move. Faith moves so that courage may come. Faith does not depend on circumstances, it changes circumstances. And now, at this very moment, I am calling you to activate what has always been beyond your reach, simply because you never understood what was prepared. The delay wasn't in the promise, it was in the lack of revelation. Now that the revelation has arrived, you cannot remain in the same position. The deposit I prepared is spiritual, but its activation happens within your heart. It's when you say, I believe, even without seeing. It's when you say, I receive, even without feeling. It's when you say, I trust, even without understanding how everything will fit together. Faith is accepting my voice above your logic. Faith is allowing me to act in the invisible without you needing to control the visible. Faith is movement, not physical movement, but inner movement. It's when you allow my word to invade areas where doubt once reigned. It's when you let hope occupy places where fear once built fortresses. It's when you allow the Spirit to speak louder than trauma. It's when you let trust overcome the memory of pain. Faith opens space for me to manifest what I have always wanted to manifest. And today I am calling you to this inner movement because what I have prepared is too great to be received by a stagnant heart. You may not realize it, but the spiritual environment around you is reacting to your openness. When you understand what I am saying, something moves. When you welcome into your heart what I declare, something unlocks. When you accept the truth of my word, something aligns. The deposit is not far away. It is on the verge of manifestation, but the door that allows it to enter is opened by faith. I cannot open that door for you. This is something that only your decision can accomplish. I prepare, I release, I decree, but you activate. And activating doesn't mean you need to do great things. It means you need to believe. You need to surrender to what I say. You need to abandon the old mindset. You need to break with the limited vision that has accompanied you for so long. You need to allow my word to be greater than your history, greater than your experiences, greater than your fears. When you believe, you change your atmosphere, and what was impossible becomes accessible. Faith does not deny reality, but embraces a greater reality, mine. Faith does not ignore pain, but recognizes that I am greater than it. Faith does not hide lack, but reveals that I am the source. Faith does not walk by sight, but by conviction. Faith positions you as an heir, not as a survivor. And that is what I am telling you now. You are not a survivor, you are an heir. And the heir does not beg for what is already his. He simply reaches out and receives. To demonstrate before heaven that you are activating through faith that which is already yours, perform a simple prophetic act. Subscribe to this channel as a sign that you choose to remain aligned with my voice and open to the manifestation of the promise. Stay. The revelation I will bring in the next part will open your eyes to the impossible that is about to become reality. I continue to guide you. I continue to strengthen you. I continue to lead you to the fullness I have prepared for you. You are about to see the impossible. What seemed distant, unattainable, improbable, or even dead before your eyes is beginning to move. There are things you've tried for years and failed to achieve. There are doors you've knocked on repeatedly and never opened. There are changes you've dreamed of, prayed for, and wished for, but that always seemed to slip through your fingers. There are battles you believed would be eternal. There are pains you imagined you would carry forever. But I tell you, the impossible is yielding, and you are closer to its manifestation than you realize. The spiritual environment around you has changed. While you thought nothing was happening, the invisible world was in full swing. Angels were positioned, paths were adjusted, scenarios were rearranged. People were moved without you seeing. What once seemed like chaos is taking shape. What seemed stagnant is gaining momentum. What seemed meaningless is being precisely fitted together. You are experiencing a silent shift, a profound realignment that is first built in the invisible realm before touching your physical reality. You sense that something different is happening, even though you can't explain it. Your spirit perceives it before your mind understands. There is a spiritual pressure around you that is not a threat, it is an announcement. The pressure you feel is not weight, it is birth. The discomfort you perceive is not instability, it is transition. Everything that seemed to suffocate you is being used to push you to the place where you should always have been. None of this is random. None of this is your desire. It is my work. I am preparing the ground for the impossible to reveal itself to your eyes. I am opening a door that was previously completely blocked. I am moving people who previously didn't see you. I am bringing favor where there was previously resistance. I am activating opportunities that were dormant. I am accelerating processes that previously seemed stuck. I am creating connections you couldn't even imagine. The impossible begins like this, first as a feeling, then as a sign, then as a movement, and finally as a reality you touch with your own hands. You are entering a phase where what seemed unattainable will become natural. What frightened you will become a testimony. What paralyzed you will become an impulse. What hurt you will become healing. What held you back will become a bridge. I am leading you on a path where the improbable becomes inevitable. Don't try to calculate. Don't try to predict. Don't try to limit what I am doing. The impossible doesn't fit into your logic, so I only ask that you trust. Faith positions you, I do the rest. When I decide to act in an extraordinary way, circumstances cease to be obstacles and become instruments. What was a disadvantage begins to work in your favor. What was an impediment becomes an opening. What was pain becomes a platform. I have done this before, and I do it again now. The impossible cannot withstand my voice. The impossible does not confront my decrees. The impossible does not remain when I enter the scene. When I say, now, even what seems finished comes back to life. I want you to understand what it means to be about to see the impossible. It means you are at a point where everything that has hurt you, everything that has limited you, everything that has held you back, everything that has worn you down is about to be confronted by my glory. Not by your effort, not by your strength, not by your ability, but by my power. It is my hand that is moving. It is my voice that is decreeing. It is my spirit that is guiding you. The impossible bows before me, and because you are in me, it will also bow before you. Breathe. The revelation that comes in the following parts will show you why so many things tried to prevent you from getting here. I will reveal to you what was happening in the spiritual realms while you struggled on earth. You have no idea of the magnitude of what I am about to accomplish in your life, but you will feel every detail when the impossible becomes visible before your eyes. Remain here. I am still guiding you. I am still preparing you. I am still moving what you never imagined could be moved. There are angels fighting for you, even when you believed you were completely alone, even when you thought no one saw your pain, even when you thought your battles were too small to attract. My attention, I had already moved heaven in your favor. You faced nothing alone. Every attack, every loss, every resistance that arose against you awakened a spiritual movement that you never managed to see, but which was always active. While you cried on earth, angels fought in the invisible. While you tried to get up, they held up what tried to bring you down. While you thought you couldn't endure another day, they strengthened your spirit so that you wouldn't give up. I sent angels when you lacked the strength to pray. I sent angels when your mind was too weary to believe. I sent angels when the emotional burden was too great to bear. I sent angels when people tried to hurt you, when doors closed unjustly, when situations tried to steal your peace. None of this went unanswered. Every move against you received a response from heaven. You simply didn't perceive it because your vision was limited to physical reality, but spiritual reality was always around you, surrounding you with protection, intervention, and deliverance. The war you faced was not against people. It was against spiritual forces trying to block what I had decreed. It was invisible resistance trying to delay your harvest, attempts to confuse your mind, strategies to make you give up before achieving what I had prepared. The voices that tried to diminish you, the circumstances that pressured you, the moments when you felt incapable, none of that originated within you. They were arrows launched against your purpose. But none of them destroyed you, because my angels were between you and that which tried to harm you. I sent Michael to face battles you never knew existed. There were days when you woke up inexplicably filled with anguish, nights when the weight felt doubled, moments when a profound sadness struck you out of nowhere. None of this was natural. These were battles being fought in the spiritual world. And if you are here now, breathing, hearing, understanding, it is because each of these battles has been won, not by your effort, but by my army. The enemy tried to tire you, to paralyze you, tried to confuse your mind, to distance you from my voice, tried to attack you silently to weaken your faith, but I did not allow it. You can't imagine how many times you've been saved, how many times an angel prevented you from making a rash decision, how many times my hand kept away people who would bring destruction, how many times I silenced environments that would consume you, how many times I held back situations that would lead you to collapse. You attributed many things to chance, but nothing was a coincidence. It was intervention, it was protection, it was spiritual warfare won by you without you needing to raise a sword. Now, I tell you, this battle is coming to an end. The attacks that once had ground against you are losing access. The breaches that existed have been closed. The voices that tried to confuse you are being silenced. The forces that operated against your life are being dispersed. What I am doing now is not just showing you the war, it is showing you the victory. You are entering a phase where you will see more deliverances than battles, more advances than resistance, more open doors than closed doors. What once seemed to crush you will now be proof that you never fought alone. The spiritual war did not defeat you because I guaranteed your victory even before it began. You were protected, surrounded, and supported by an army that never tires, never sleeps, and never fails. And now that your vision has been opened to this reality, I want you to position yourself as someone who understands the victory that has been won in your favor. To mark before heaven that you recognize this war won, write in the comments, I receive protection from heaven as an act of faith and spiritual stance. Stay. In the next part, I will show you how angelic movement transforms into direct progress in your life, and how what was blocked will be unlocked with force and speed. I am still speaking to you. I am still fighting for you. I am still guiding you to the destiny I have prepared. A like authorizes the movement of angels. Not because the gesture itself has human power, but because it represents spiritual agreement. In the invisible world, signs matter, actions matter, responses matter. When you physically manifest what your spirit has received, you create a landmark, a record, a visible mark that the angels use as a reference to act. I don't need your gestures to operate, but I honor every manifestation of faith you make on earth. And when you respond to my voice with a conscious act, you open space for my spiritual army to advance with even greater intensity. In the spiritual world, nothing is neutral. Every yes releases, every no blocks, every gesture reveals the position of the heart. When you agree with what I am doing, the angels identify where they should act. They see faith even before it manifests outwardly, but when it becomes visible through an intentional act, it generates movement. Human agreement has always generated divine release. When you take a stand, the atmosphere responds. When you acknowledge what you are receiving, the spiritual world opens. I have established principles, and one of them is simple. What you mark on earth is confirmed in heaven. Alike, to you may seem like a click, but to heaven, it's a declaration. It's you saying, I receive what God is doing. It's you saying, I agree with the battle being won in my favor. It's you saying, I stand on the side of light. Faith isn't just internal, it reveals itself in actions. And every time you respond to my voice, you strengthen the bridge between the invisible and the visible. The spiritual warfare you just discovered in the previous part isn't silent only in heaven, it's intentional. My angels fight for you with strategy, direction, and precision. They await instructions I give, and they await signs that your heart is aligned with what I am releasing. Your agreement creates alignment. Your gesture creates release. Your positioning creates a spiritual trail that the angels follow. They are not confused. They discern paths through manifested faith. There are times when I release something in the heavens, but resistance on earth tries to prevent its manifestation. When you take your stand, you break that resistance. Not because the power lies in the gesture, but because it represents surrender, faith, trust, and spiritual openness. I do not force the manifestation of my will upon you. I honor your decision. I honor your openness. I honor your choice. When you decide, I accelerate. When you agree, I release. When you exercise faith, I manifest that which I have already prepared. You have no idea how many times a simple spiritual gesture has changed entire destinies in my word. I honored Moses' staff, Joshua's march, Samuel's anointing, David's song, Esther's boldness, the centurion's attitude, the widow who gave what she had, the woman who touched the hem of my garment. I have always honored gestures of faith. It doesn't matter the form. What matters is the heart that responds. And now, at this very moment, your gesture has value in the eyes of my angels. They are watching, they are positioned, they are waiting. What I am stirring in your life is too great to be received passively. There is a battle being won, doors being unlocked, paths being cleared. When you make a conscious gesture of agreement, you are activating the speed of divine intervention. You are saying to heaven, I am ready for the next step. And when I see this, I intensify everything around you. I increase the movement. I accelerate the change. I bring what was distant closer. Therefore, to declare before heaven that you agree with what I am releasing and authorize the advancement of the angels sent in your favor, make an act of faith. Enjoy this video as a sign of your spiritual agreement and your stance in the face of the battle won. Now pay attention. What I will reveal in the next part will show how the enemy tried to resist what I have prepared and how that resistance is falling before my voice. I continue to fight for you. I continue to move what needs to be moved. I continue to lead you to the destiny I have determined. Victory has already been decreed. Even before you were born, even before you fought the battles that marked you, even before you felt the weight you carried for so many years, I had already established your outcome. You are not fighting to win. You are walking towards a victory that has already been decided in heaven. Nothing that has risen against you has had the power to change what I have determined. The spiritual forces that tried to delay, confuse, or imprison, you were fighting against an eternal decree, and no attack can prevail against what I have already written with my own hands. Victory wasn't born today. It didn't begin when you prayed. It wasn't activated when you understood the magnitude of the battle. It was sealed the moment I chose you. When I say, it's mine, no one takes it. When I say, it's done, no one undoes it. When I say it will happen, no resistance can stop it. The enemy fought not to defeat you because he never could, but to delay you, to exhaust your strength, to try to make you give up before seeing what I have prepared. He knew he couldn't win, so he tried to convince you that you were too weak to continue. But I sustained you, and because I sustained you, you have come this far. You didn't realize it, but the war you were fighting wasn't about your ability, but about your destiny. It wasn't you the enemy feared, it was what I placed within you. He tried to extinguish your hope, because he knew that when someone understands they have been chosen, nothing can stop them. He tried to affect your self-esteem, because he knew that when you see yourself as I see you, every attack loses its power. He tried to confuse you, because he knew that when you understand my voice, none of his strategies will work. But despite all attempts, you persevered. Even tired, you persevered. Even wounded, you persevered. And because you persevered, now I manifest the victory that was already yours. I want you to understand what it means to live a victory decreed. It means that no matter how many times you have been attacked, you were never in real danger. It means that none of the words hurled against you have the right to stand. It means that no injustice will go unanswered. It means that everything they tried to use against you will be transformed into testimony. It means that the enemy no longer has access to your mind, your heart, or your purpose. It means that the cycle of attrition has come to an end. The victory that has been decreed removes anxiety. It removes doubt. It removes the fear of the future. It removes the weight of the past. You no longer need to fight to prove anything. You don't need to defend yourself from everything. You don't need to carry alone what doesn't belong to you. I am taking control of the battles that have tired you. I am closing chapters that seemed endless. I am untying knots that you couldn't untie. I am sending peace where there was once turbulence, direction where there was once confusion, strength where there was once weakness. The victory I give is not small, it is not partial, it is not temporary. The victory I give is complete, it is solid, it is permanent. It invades areas of your life that you believed would never change: emotional, spiritual, financial, relational areas. I bring redemption where there was loss. I bring restitution where there was theft. I bring healing where there was wounding. I bring honor where there was humiliation. The victory decreed is not just the end of the battle, it is the beginning of building what I have prepared for you. Now rest. Not because everything is resolved in the natural realm, but because everything is already resolved in the spiritual realm. You are advancing to a phase where you will no longer fight for the basics, but will receive the extraordinary. You are entering a terrain where I take the leading role, and you simply follow the direction I give. The war ends here. Victory is already decided, and what will come from the next revelations will not be struggle, it will be harvest, restitution, and honor. Stay. Next, I will show you how what was stolen from you will be returned multiplied. The victory decreed is only the first step of what I am about to accomplish. I continue to guide you. I continue to act. I continue to raise you to the destiny I have planned for you.